Welcome to Broad Ideas. Why did I just do that?
I thought you were going to say, why did we name it that?
Well, let's get into it. Today we have Ian Harding from
Our Little Secret.
I purposely am saving it to watch on my airplane ride because my favorite thing on airplanes is watching a rom-com.
Same.
Right?
Yes. I only watch rom-coms on airplanes.
It's so comforting.
Yeah. Makes you feel safe.
I still cry though.
Just in general?
Yes. All the time. Let's welcome Ian.
Sometimes when the world feels insane, you can take a little peek inside of Rachel's little brain. All these thoughts are swirling round and round inside. To join us on this journey as we take a little ride. We'll talk about dogs and kids and things. We'll talk about chicks and tampon strings. We'll talk about boys that make you cry. We'll talk about death, 'cause people die.
Hi.
Wait, are we
Okay,
recording?
are we good?
Oh my God.
Hi.
It's
Hi.
early for us, just so you know.
Oh, right. It is. It's, well, actually, what is it? It's 9?
It's not that early. It's just early for us. Like we normally start recording at like 11. So 9 a.m. means like dropping the kids off,
Yeah.
doing the whole thing, getting here,
Getting into it.
getting into it.
Right. And so you just did this. Like the
Shimmy.
seats are still warm in your car from them sitting in it. Type thing.
Correct.
Yes. I still
Okay.
have her morning breakfast in the car. So, you know.
Is it in the dish that you put it in?
Absolutely.
Or is it
Well,
on the-
actually, it spills out many, many times. I don't recommend peanut butter situation in the car on the way to school.
What kind of
Yeah.
situation did you give her?
Well, this morning, let me tell you guys, I know you really care about this.
I do care about this stuff.
I used to, when I was pregnant with my daughter, eat a brown rice cake with peanut butter and banana
And
on
banana
it
and honey.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, delicious.
And I gave it to her this morning and she loved it. Sorry, this is like a big moment.
That is a big thing because I have a 2-year-old with 2 and some change, and he is he's when we first started giving him solids, he would eat like crazy good things. Like he would eat salmon and
Wow.
like broccoli, and we're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
we've got this unicorn child, and now he has to have a popsicle in his hand
Yeah.
to eat the other food. And
Yep.
so now I'm hoping that we can get back to a place where I can give him a brown rice cake with some peanut butter, and he doesn't need a popsicle as well.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know if you'll ever get back to it.
I just
Can
like
take a
sharing
while.
it just to be like, my kid ate a brown rice. She eats everything. And you will get there. I was, for a second, I know you said solids, but in my mind, because he's only 2, you were like salmon. I'm like, you blended salmon and he ate? So, like in my mind, I went puree.
Gross.
We
It's
were-
9.
Again, thankfully, he was like a year. He was about a year during the strike, and so I had a lot of time on my hands, and so did my wife. And so we could just like cook him things and cook it to a plate where it was like very soft, and then we'd like blend up chicken and apples and things like that. And that's all the early videos of like
You would blend
most
it.
of it getting on his face.
Oh,
and
wow.
You had
you
the
know.
time, though.
We had the time, and now I'll throw a frozen Eggo waffle at him. And
Like
What's his
frisbee.
name?
this is what. Well, I actually haven't said his name publicly. I know
Oh.
that's such a douchey thing to say.
You're such a douche.
But or actually, I do the thing where I just make up. I do kind of like messing with, like, media outlets. I'll be like, well, Seamus. And like his name is not Seamus, but like then it'll pop up on BuzzFeed or something. Like, you know.
Well, do you want to do it again and just say something crazy? What's his name?
His name is Marcus Aurelius, and
That's good.
and
Strong.
because we're big fans of the philosopher and gladiator. And this is getting off to a rough start. I already sound like a pretentious asshole. I'm like, I make him salmon, and
I make him salmon and I won't say his name. No,
it's
you're
our fault.
awesome.
You're great.
Yeah.
We're so happy to talk to you, by the way.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. And I know we have a mutual beloved friend in common in the form of Lucy Hale,
Lucy.
Yeah.
She's
who
our
texted
person.
me this morning, and she was like, "You're gonna love the pod." Um, and I was like, don't tell me what I'm going to do. And we have a nice relationship where we send each other memes and we do things like that. And then every once in a while, I love trolling them on Instagram. It's so much fun.
Oh, give us an example.
Well,
Trolling
her and also-
who?
Lucy
I'll be in the comments section and her and also like Shay Mitchell,
Oh, got it.
you know, who
Yeah.
she has this thing where she'll post, she'll post like videos of her and like her luggage line, which is amazing. And she
It
has sent
is.
me a bunch of free stuff. I really, really love it. But I don't know why she's always like wet in the, and so I think it's that like sopping, like kind of hot look. And I'm like, you should start making like base umbrellas or something because you are drenched always.
A base
but-
umbrella.
She
Oh, I
always
l-
looks so good too. Like every
Yeah.
single thing I see of her, I'm like, my
Editorial.
God. Yeah.
She is. I hope this. Well, this might not. She might not appreciate this, but she is one of these people because I've if I'm in LA, I'll see her, and I've been over to her house at like 7 a.m. and she walks out like no
Like
makeup,
that.
no anything, and even I am like, fuck you, like she looks it's fantastic, and then I look like as if I'd been laying in like standing water for several days. You know, it's
Like
just
pruny?
Just come in all
and or
pruny.
deceased. You know, like I'm starting to decompose.
Yeah. I know.
but,
People
yeah,
like that. It's a thing.
Lucy's like that too. I mean,
Yeah,
her
Lucy's like that
face
too.
is, you can get lost in it. It's just such a fun face.
I
Yeah.
get lost.
And her spirit, we couldn't love her more. We think she's one of the most special of all.
Little humans.
Yeah.
yeah. I think she's also had such a wonderful journey too. I mean, wonderful isn't like deeply painful, and she's had to do a lot of work, but especially over the past couple of years and the sort of the journey that she's taken, we couldn't be more proud of her, because it takes a lot to come out and say like, nope, here was the problem.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
here's what I did to, overcome it and then live with it every day. And I think it adds such a depth to her when she could have been given her looks and her,
Yeah.
following and fashion sense. Like she could have just been a sort of run of the mill starlet. And I think that she now feels like a whole human and like a woman. And it's a joy to watch.
Yeah. It's hard to become a whole human, you know?
That's actually so weird that you guys say that too, because the book I'm listening to right now is called The Way of Integrity, and it's all about coming back to being whole.
Huh.
And so when you said that, I was like, wow, that's exactly what I'm focusing on right now, is like, how do you take all those parts of you? And like, if we use Lucy for an example,
Yeah.
it's like, yes, she has all those beautiful glitzy glamour parts about her, but there was the other fragmented pieces, and it's like she's grabbed those back, and now she's way more powerful as a woman because she's whole, right?
How did you
But-
find this book?
My therapist.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the reason for getting into it, or for
I don't remember what I said. And she was like, have you checked? I also devour all of those kind of books. So she said, have you read The Way of Integrity? And then I was listening to this woman, Martha Beck, give a speech. And I thought we should talk about this at some point, because she was talking about white lies.
Ooh.
And she was talking about every time you tell a white lie, you're disconnecting from the light. You're disconnecting from your truth. You're actually fragmenting yourself. And the only way to become back to being whole is to be completely honest. And
Wow.
yeah,
She's always on me about any kind of lie or white lie. And like, look, I definitely
I'm about to give you one right now.
No, but especially with kids too, like it's closed. But it's a white lie.
I don't do it.
I know she doesn't do it.
Here's what she said though, Rachel, and
Yeah.
I wanted you to listen to this, and you just happen to be a witness
I'm
to
a
this.
liar. I'm
on
a pretty
accident.
little liar.
I wanted you to hear this though, because she said what happens when, she said most people, within the 10 minutes, their first meeting, they will tell 3 lies.
What?
Yeah. And when you stop doing that, what happens is you turn on the part of yourself that's present and creative because you're seeking truth. So instead of saying, the store's closed, we're not going to go, you're then going, how can I say this in a way that's truthful and not going to hurt the person? So it's like, do I look fat in these jeans? You want to
Good
tell
God,
them
yes.
they look
No,
fat in the jeans.
Yeah,
But you
I
don't want to say, yeah, you look fat.
Well, how would you handle that? Like, let's say your wife comes to you with something like that.
Well, oh man, like 8 things have been said that I feel are so important. And that like, the white lie thing, especially like being somewhat in the public eye, but I imagine like the people on the other side of the Zoom call have had to deal with like having to lie for safety, to lie for, to protect both one's children as well as, like I've done the thing where you get an encounter. I mean, this is a silly example, but like somebody who recognizes you and they're like, what part of town are you staying in? I don't know. And I don't want to say like, that's fucking creepy. Don't ask me that. Like, that's not really my personality. So I'm like, oh, I'm actually over here. Totally not true. I'm in the opposite direction.
Right.
And,
Right.
but I think because I mean, she has asked me this question, my wife, if she's asked me like, do I look fat in this? She doesn't really, I think one of the reasons we got together and have been together for so long, it'll be 15 years in
Oh,
August.
wow.
We delayed the marriage thing for a long time because we were like, that's going to be a lot of effort. Neither of us wants to do that. Planning a wedding and
Yeah, right. Neither of us want to get married.
So in the end, like we were kind of like, oh yeah, like isn't it like a tax write-off or something? Like, yeah, we should probably do that. But that she was always like pretty radically and occasionally offensively honest. And I feel because she is that way, not only with me and with people in her life, that I can do the same thing with her. And I think again, it's like, who are we having this conversation with? If
Right.
I think if one of you stood up right now and said, do I look fat in these jeans? I'd be like, this feels like a test. And I don't know how to answer that, but with her, I think I can say, first I'd probably do some like a joke or something like that and say like, look, we have both been consuming a lot of butter. There's no shame, but then there's also like, I think there have been other pants that have been more flattering, but at the same time, it is your body and it's beautiful, and whatever you would like to do, you can totally do. I did say once, that people would kill to be as fat as you are, and implying that like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
and she like ran with it for a while. The joke was like, so I'm still fat. And I'm like, no, hang on, wait. And like, but
The
But
takeaway.
I think if you're able to be super honest with somebody, then that's great. I do have a hard time being honest with everyone because especially
Yeah.
it's very
We all
difficult.
do.
Yeah.
Right. But this woman said she did a whole year without a single lie. And I've tried my very best. You know that. It's like a practice.
She really does.
Where I'm like, I can find the truth. I can find
Yeah.
it somewhere. Only because I like to be comfortable in myself. And the more we lie, the more we fracture our self-trust. And that's not a great feeling.
No. Do you find this harder to do in LA?
I'm from LA. I know no different.
Okay.
But I will ask you this. Being honest,
Yeah.
do you think your wife is slightly cooler than you?
Oh, I don't think I know.
Because I was like diving. I was like, wait, she's so cool. Like, could you
Yeah.
be that cool?
No, I show up
Okay.
and people are like, "Oh, Sophia brought her accountant to this party." And not that accountants aren't cool. God bless accountants, because I can't add. But yeah, no, she feels like she's from a different time. And then especially as our parenthood journey has
Mm.
progressed, it's been really inspiring and also humbling for me to watch her uh, sort of balance both things and to jump into motherhood in a way that was not that it wasn't like sort of expected, but I was the one that was like I was excited. Like I read, I think Bringing Up Bebe,
Uh-huh.
Bebe, whatever,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
5 years ago, before our son was even conceived,
Right.
and I like I was very excited about it, and I think she knew, understandably, to be blunt, that because of my work and because I have to, I mean, I'm sitting here in Toronto right now, um, that a lot of the it might whenever I was gone, it would fall to her,
Hmm.
to handle this, and that is, I'm sure it's not revelatory to either one of you. That's a lot of work, and even with me trying to be as present as possible, at times I almost feel like I'm getting in the way, because she's able to keep multiple things in her mind while also trying to grow as a person and admit her own faults and admit her insecurities, especially as a mom. Like she didn't babysit anybody growing up. Like the first
Right.
like infant she held might have been her own. you know
Wow.
Wow.
and so um that's been that's we've been very honest with each other the past 2 years, and that sometimes is like brutal you
Yeah.
know um but I think as long as we just have as much compassion for one another, just acknowledge that like you're both doing like what we need to do right now, and it's going to pass, and like they get he gets older, he goes to school for longer. Right now he's in like a glorified daycare center, but like um it's just going to be, this is it, this is just
You're in
this
the
moment right now,
trenches.
just in the trenches. And as much as um you might think that it'd be good to like just kind of lie about this one thing, like for a while when she was really stressed, um I would try and not burden her with
Right.
more of my stress, especially
Mm.
if it was like a real champagne problem.
Hmm.
you
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
really.
yeah, or oh god, there was something that like as it left my mouth, I'm like, what a piece of shit. I something, I forget what it was, but he was sick, and my mom, who lives in the area, like couldn't help, and because there was another thing she was doing, and so it was just her. And um and I think she wanted to take this one class at like a nearby art center, and it was the sort of like form of printing. She's an editorial and fashion photographer, and she's like, I want to figure out how to do this. And I was in New York doing press for something else, and I really wanted to go see my friend's play that he's in. And but if I went, she would not be able to go to this class.
Hmm.
And
I
she was like,
already am
could
mad
you?
at you.
Yeah,
And
me
I
too.
and I was just feeling, but I had been like bouncing around from like Toronto, New York, DC, and all, and I was moving around. I was like, you know what? I just want to see my friends play, and I don't know if he's going to be in it for much longer. And that was my thought process,
Yeah.
even though she had been on 24/7.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
and I said something like, what if I left at 1 a.m. to get back down to DC, and then you could head to the class, which started at like 7 or something like that. And she went, let's think about this for a second, through like gritted teeth. And as soon as it left my mouth, I was like, you asshole. Like, so you're saying you will get 4 hours of sleep, show up, and take over the parenting thing with no sleep, and as opposed to just coming home the night before, maybe seeing the play later because you're going to be back in New York in like 2 weeks, and then I could go to this class because I just want to
Right.
do it, just this one thing for myself, so I can be something other than just
Mom.
Hmm.
mom. As wonderful as a
Of
title as that
course.
is,
Yeah.
And I said, I was like, yeah, I was understandably, I was like, but I really want to see it now. And she was very patient with me. But said, I am a little hurt that you did not recognize and didn't sort of immediately jump to make that happen.
Right.
And she's like, I know you're not a mind reader, but like,
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
to have enough, yes, to have enough awareness of like what I'd been experiencing. And then as soon as like, yeah, it hit me and I was like, yep, absolutely. And I, was on the next plane. I went home.
Support for Bright Ideas comes from Mint Mobile. After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by overpriced wireless providers, if we've learned anything, Lou, it's that there's always a catch. So when I heard that all Mint Mobile wireless plans are $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, I thought, okay, what's the catch? But after talking to them, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they sell wireless service online. They don't have retail stores or salespeople. Instead, they deliver premium phone plans directly to you. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/ideas. That's mintmobile.com/ideas. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/ideas. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speeds slower above 40 GB on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Support for Bright Ideas comes from Quince. It is great when you can get someone a gift they wouldn't necessarily get for themselves. That little bit of luxury that they don't know they're missing. For quality gifts at an affordable price, my go-to is Quince.
I ordered stuff for everybody I love.
Because everything from Quince is lovable. Quince lets you treat your loved ones and yourself to everyday luxury at an affordable price.
I might have treated myself too.
What did you get?
I got sweaters.
I love their sweaters.
Yeah.
My fisherman sweater is still my favorite. Did you know you can also get flatware?
No.
I know. I'm obsessed with flatware right now. Honestly, it's my favorite place to go to for gifts, including gifts for myself.
And I love that you can get one for everyone on your list.
It's a one-stop shop. Gift luxury this holiday season without the luxury price tag. Go to quince.com/ideas for 365-day returns, plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE.com/ideas to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/ideas. I don't know, but it brings up like communication just in general. Like,
right.
Because I think a lot of times women expect men to read their minds. I mean,
and vice versa.
And vice versa. And vice
Yeah.
versa. Yeah. Like you just expect, like, exactly how I'm feeling. The emotions, that whatever. And like, you should just know this is what you need to do. But a lot of times that is not the case. And I feel like you would have been at that play had she not communicated to you. That's really fucked up.
because I hadn't thought of all of the components of the situation. I thought like, well, no, I'll still be home. Like I can absolutely make it home, 100%.
Right.
But her point was like, wait a minute, you will have no sleep. You're going to come
hard.
back, and that's if you get home on time.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
And it could screw me over. You'll be exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been going for like several months already. Like just think about the whole situation. And so, I think like anything in marriage, it becomes it's more intense. Like we were always like very honest and communicative and all that, but yeah, once you add that third person,
Yeah, it changes the game.
It changes the game. And we also, like, we weren't those people that said something like, well, I don't want it to change our lives. Like we knew it was I was ready for that because I didn't want to do the like constant LA hustle thing that I felt like I was doing. Like I was working all the time, but yet I felt like dead inside. So like, I was ready for like please
to
take over my
change.
life.
Yeah, please change my life.
Yeah,
For sure.
and it has for the most part. But yeah, I'm rambling.
I was
now.
just going to say that was a perfect example of her being in her integrity, because that's micro truth honest. You could say, no, it's fine. Just go see your friend, and then harbor it and then take it out on you in a passive aggressive way, or
Probably what
be
I
a
would do.
victim or be a martyr. But instead, she was honest, which is an indication of self-integrity, right? And then you sat with it and you're like, okay, for me to be in integrity, I can't be an asshole. I got to come home. Right. And so that's a demonstration of you both doing it. I want to circle back to the LA part for a second. So you're from Germany originally, right?
So this is another thing where I throw people off unintentionally.
Oh, it's not real.
Well, no, it is real. I mean, yes and no, in that I was born there and I lived there for 3 years, but I was born on like a military base because both my parents were in the military. And then I moved back to the DC area and just lived there until I went to college and then out to LA for 12 years. So I was, it's always very disappointing to the border folks in Germany when I go back that they look at my passport and they're like, oh, and then they ask me a bunch of questions in German. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm dumb. Like that is real, but I left when I was young.
But I am not.
Right.
I'm not. And so they're very angry at me. But yeah, no, I lived outside of DC, which is actually where I live now. Because I was in LA for 12 years and then just kind of couldn't do it anymore.
So talk about that, because you said something that you're like, do you find it harder in LA? What about LA do you think it would be harder to live an honest life? What compelled you to move out of Los Angeles?
Yeah. And I realize I'm talking to two Angelinas.
That's okay.
we
don't
have,
we understand
an
completely.
awareness, and we get it.
It's usually also not the people that are from here.
Yeah. That can make it like the worst. No, and you know what? I think if your family structure, your roots are in any place, you almost kind of long for it. Like when I tell people that, like, oh, I love DC, they're like, why? Like, and I'm like, yeah, if you ignore like the politics and the government stuff, it's a delightful place. But to me, it's because I have my friends there, my parents are there. I've got family. Like I know it. And it's been home. It's always been the thing that I went back to, like even the fact that I was living in LA for 12 years, like I don't think we ever celebrated Christmas there. I always came back, it was always, that was just, little things that would kind of show that this place was not my home. This place was. I think I felt in LA at times, especially in the entertainment industry, that there was no off button, and that if I wanted to be just an actor, that was somehow complacent, and I really started to doubt myself and my skill level, because the sort of environment around me, like everybody that I talked to was doing at least 4 things at once. And especially in that like young Hollywood scene, which like Rachel, you just grimaced a little bit. But like everybody is like working for that thing, and like the hell on earth is being on a set with a bunch of actors in their 20s, and there's the cast chairs, and one of you gets an audition for a big thing, and then everybody's like, oh my God, so happy for you. And like the shit talking that happens is that person leaves. And eventually like we grow out of it and we realize like you should be a person before you're an actor.
Right.
But it kind of just became too much. And then, I think 2020 kind of broke me, and it was always that thing that I think a lot of Californians forget, that most of the US does not catch fire at the end of the summer. And that's just like, like one of our friends is from Long Beach, and she said something like, well, you guys get blizzards. And I'm like, I don't think blizzards take out whole towns, you know what I mean? And fill the sky with ash, and so, but I talk about it now. Like for a while I had this like real aversion to it. And when you're like really like after a while, it wasn't about LA. It was about my own feelings of like sense of place and value,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
And
we get that.
and so, after a while, like now that I've been out of LA, I realized like, no, LA is a city. It's a place,
Right.
it has its problems like every other city. And I was projecting onto it like that it was just like some irredeemable hellhole. Yeah. Yeah.
But there's
yeah.
aspects that are pretty toxic.
Mhm.
And that's a universal truth when it comes to the entertainment industry that you can't avoid. And what that does to people can be a little bit soul sucking, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And then bumping up against that all the time, it makes you question, who am I and what am I doing here? Is this
Right.
really it? And I think sometimes moving away from it and getting perspective of when you're in LA, you think this is life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh
then
my
you
God.
step outside of it and you're like, nobody cares
No
about
one cares.
any of you,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
at all. It's only when you're here that you get wrapped up in that thing, but you remove yourself and you can see. I remember going to Pittsburgh for the first time and being like, where are all the billboards?
Yeah.
It's all like,
yeah.
do you need an attorney? Did you da da da? And my husband was like, what do you mean where are the billboards? And I was like, well, why is it all like personal injury lawyers? And he's like, did you think that they had Hollywood movie posters in other towns?
Yeah.
I've never, that
What?
thought has never crossed my
neither,
mind.
because we've been
Yeah.
raised
Yeah.
in it. Like, it's just like
They
normal.
don't have movie
No.
billboards?
None, not one.
Are you sure?
They have personal attorney injury
Do
lawyers.
they have movie billboards in DC?
I have not seen many. Usually what you see is like the sides of bus stops. And even
Have you
then
ever
it's
thought
like,
of this? Has this crossed your mind at all? Have you ever noticed? Like, this has
mean,
never
I think-
entered my mind.
if it's been an unconscious thing,
It didn't either.
I love that. Like I knew that when I moved back to DC, like the movie industry was not the main
Right.
Yeah,
form of
that's what I
commerce there.
mean.
It's government. I'm
Right.
like, oh, fantastic. So yeah, I'm sure that if I worked for, the man, I would look all over DC and see, because I can't even hear it. Like if I, a little while ago, I was home and my wife and I went to a restaurant in Georgetown.
Mhm.
And I remember hearing like the conversation next to us was these two guys in suits. And what they're talking about is like lobbying to get a bill through
Right.
Congress. And I realized like that would make me cringe if it was like, look, we can't get global distribution for our film. Like I would kind of gag there. But for
Yeah.
them, it's the same thing. And so, but for me, I'm like, oh, isn't that interesting?
People
but-
care about different things.
Care about different things.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like after a while in LA, I needed to kind of extricate myself from that and feel like a person again. And now that I'm out, like I almost long for it in the way that like if you had a friend from your 20s
A lover.
that was just kind of
Yeah.
kind of a bit of a mess,
Kind of toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now you've grown up and you don't live together anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, I miss them. Like, that's great. Like you go and you have a great time. And then they start kind of like say, by the way, like, I know you've at that guest house. You want to, and you're like, oh, no. And you have to like,
Yeah.
get out. But it's now I miss it. And I'm excited to come back at some point.
What part of LA did you live in?
I lived all over. I was in, I for a while I was in like, the Wilshire area when I first got there.
Oof.
Like,
Thick of
yeah,
it.
like tar pits. Like that's where
Yeah.
we got our dogs, was at a adoption thing at the tar
Aw.
pits.
That's where I lived when
And-
I was born, actually. In the tar pits. No. Just down the
She
street.
is a woolly
I
mammoth.
am a woolly
Really?
mammoth.
Did you see,
Surprise!
there's that Ralph's that's on Wilshire?
Yeah.
That's like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like if I opened my window and spat, like it would land on,
On Ralph's.
which is just, I know, a graphic image to describe that, but
We like graphic images.
that's good. Oh, they're
So
more coming.
true. We just really like the graphic image.
Really just thrive.
And then we were in Eagle Rock for 5 years.
Oh, cool. Didn't you
Yeah.
like that better than Wilshire?
A lot better. Yeah. Yeah. not to crap on Wilshire, but
no, I mean, but for, domesticating.
Yeah, we drove through that area the other day and went, could you even imagine living here now?
No.
Like now that we have kids and it's just not
No.
something I would ever do on purpose.
No. Would either of you ever leave?
I did leave for 3 years, and I went kicking and screaming, like to a little town up north, and then had an amazing time.
Oh, really?
I
Where'd you go?
constantly am
Oh, yeah.
looking for a farm. Sorry, that's just
Oh,
me.
really? Like a California farm, or you're looking
No,
like
like, you
further
know,
afield?
I don't know.
Anywhere.
Anywhere farm-like with some goats.
Our dream is to have like a nice,
We want a
proper
compound.
commune. Oh, compound, not commune.
Well, kind
Cult.
of the same.
Yeah.
No, we really do. We want a lot of property and for us all to live on it because that's how it should be, you know? Everyone
Yeah.
kind of helping each other out. That is my dream, like homestead. Now, I say all this, I think, you know, I feel like I'm built for it in a lot of ways, but then in other ways, like I need my like Target or Walmart or whatever it may be nearby.
You could do it
Yeah.
adjacent.
Adjacent.
Is it like, but do you have a desire to like churn your own butter and
Yes. As a matter of fact, I
am a
well,
trad wife.
at heart. I do love that stuff. And I have spent a lot of time on a farm outside, like isolated in my adult life. And that aspect of it, like I love it. But then I will say, because like, you know, you're talking about home and I did grow up in LA, and every time as the plane is like landing and you kind of see the lights of the city, there's a feeling that just like takes over. And I'm like, home.
yeah.
But I do now, like I guess you could say I live a little outside of LA. Like I'm not in LA.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
even that just slightly removed makes me feel like a whole person.
Yeah.
See that?
I felt that way, like even being in, I forget why we were there, but like at one point we were in Topanga for a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I mean, other than the fact this is gonna probably burn down at some
Burn
point.
down.
Right.
Like I loved it. I was like, oh my God, this is fantastic. You know, you feel like you're in the country.
Yeah.
And yet, you know, depending on traffic, you could be in the thick of things
Right.
like very easily. I think so. You know, it's funny you say the whole thing about farms, because especially during the pandemic, I have a lot of family in New Hampshire of all places, which is quite literally like fully diagonally as far away as you can get from LA and still be in the lower 48. But, and I think it was just like, I also had that, because I got very into gardening and all these other sort of like, felt like tangible things, like tangible creativity. Because I think sometimes with this industry, like you know, you're making things, but like, you know, or you're taking meetings and you're making calls, and it's all kind of intangible. You can't, and like, I don't know, but if you churn your own butter and then eat it, like it's, you know, I feel like unfortunately I feel like I'm like moving you more towards the trad wife thing, and I'm like really not, but like
No, please move me full force.
She would love to like bake strudel all day.
It's always the strudel.
It's strudel.
I'm not a bread baker. I would like to be. See, I also am the person that's like, I want to go to the farmer's market every week and get my fresh bread with no preservatives. Like these are the thoughts I have, but I don't do it.
Oh, you don't?
Sometimes I do. But I mean, not like consistently, like this is my thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Because when you start the commune/cult, there will be the person that goes on horseback to the local, you know,
I love this.
barter,
I love this.
Give me a
it'll be
horse.
great.
Give me a horse. Give me a mason jar with cream. You've got butter. You just shake it
Oh.
for a very long time,
And then you get those good arm muscles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Like
and then you're
shake
just
weights.
like,
It's
oh,
like-
me. It's
Shake
just-
weights. Oh my God. Do you remember those?
It's like the first shake weight. That's
Yeah.
The
let me just do
first
this gesture.
shake weight. I think, yeah, I got that for like my 29th birthday. It's a joke.
You
I
got
don't
an
have
actual
any-
shake weight.
I got the actual shake weight. Oh my God. Imagine if I still have it.
Let's look. We should find it. Or churn some butter.
Yeah. Just shake it.
I remember once seeing your stepmom and being like, God, your arms are so beautiful. And she's like, I just garden.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's what
Now, is
those
that true?
muscles are meant to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Like
But is
you're
it like garden
supposed
plus
to be
Pilates?
functionally.
No, I think she was very athletic growing up. And so naturally a lot of it's there. But she is a very serious gardener.
She's
Oh, really?
Yeah, real
avid
deal. Like even
gardener.
has her own like plots and like public gardens, you know, growing things like that's
Yeah.
not at her house. Yeah.
Oh, I got so excited. I found out 2 days ago the community garden near my house I've moved up on the wait list. Like
Wow.
Oh, to get a
that
plot?
I'm so like I'm salivating. And I know this is like, but maybe that was the whole point of leaving LA is like you can still have some success of with like film and TV and still be like the thing that really matters to you the most. It's like, oh my God.
Support for Broad Ideas comes from Blissy. I am so obsessed with my Blissy pillowcase. I've been sleeping on my Blissy pillowcase. Gosh, honestly, I think it's for at least a year now. My hair has never looked better. Don't you agree?
I do.
You need to agree.
Silky. Like the pillowcase.
It really is. And you know what? They make the perfect gift for anyone. I feel like my mom, she's hard to shop for. She has so much. But I found Blissy. And let me tell you, this woman has some frizzy hair. But she said that that's the best gift she's received because her hair is so much less frizzy.
Did you know that my mom actually turned me on to it?
Really?
Yeah.
For her skin or her hair?
For her hair and her skin.
That's amazing. Blissy's been featured on Good Morning America, The View, Live with Kelly and Mark, and Dermatologist Recommended. Everybody loves them. They have over 2 million fans, and you could be next. Because you're a listener, Blissy is offering 60 nights risk-free, plus an additional 30% off when you shop at blissy.com/Rachel. That's BLISSY.com/Rachel and use code Rachel to get an additional 30% off. Your skin and hair will thank you. Support comes from Thrive Cosmetics. Olivia?
I use it every day.
Every day.
Every single day.
Every day. I love their mascara so much.
Can I actually talk about why I love their mascara
Please
so
do.
much?
Please do.
Because one of the most annoying things in the world is when you wash your face and then you have raccoon eyes and you can't get the mascara off and it stains and makes you look like you have dark circles.
Yeah, I used to never wash my eyes at night
But
because
now-
of that.
Legitimately, you can, and it just comes off and there's none of that.
It's really the best. And I find this time of year with the holidays, there's more parties to go to, more makeup looks, and Thrive has made it so easy.
I have on the eyeshadow pencil right now.
You have the eyeshadow pencil on? I
Yeah.
love the eyeshadow pencil. I use all of the colors. They go on so smooth. Brighten up your holiday look with Thrive Cosmetics. Luxury beauty that gives back. Right now, you can get an exclusive 20% off your first order at thrivecosmetics.com/broad. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/broad for 20% off your first order.
I was going to say, do you think there's a correlation between, I'm going to go back to the honesty
Yeah.
because that's all I can think about right now. But you moving was an honest choice. That was what your truth was. You wanted to go home. You wanted to be outside of this. And you took a chance and you took a risk and you did what was true for you. Do you think there's a correlation between that and then, I don't know how wildly successful this latest movie is, but it's pretty bananas, right? In a way, I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you experienced anything like this since Pretty Little Liars? Like, do you see a correlation between being like, I'm fine to leave, I'm going to go do this thing elsewhere and be in touch with myself, and then it's almost like you're gaining more and more success from that?
Oh, 100%. Because I think I was spending so much time doing what I felt I should be doing. Like I think one of the only times in my life I've thought about getting a tattoo was the word should on the bottom of my foot so I could step on it every day.
Wow.
It's such a shitty word because, it's implying something you don't want to do, but is either forced upon you, is culturally appropriate. And so, again, sort of feeling like, and this is really difficult because especially after Pretty Little Liars ended, I loved it and I was so grateful for it. I would do it again in a heartbeat. But it was a teen drama.
Yeah.
And those can be difficult to shake. Rachel like shakes it.
Yeah. Yes.
And
Correct?
and and I'm just and so and after a while I felt, even though I was like auditioning, taking meetings, doing all this, and like I also had like a very like normal actor experience, which is like you do the pilot, doesn't go. You do the movie, you're cut out of it. You
Yep.
know, you get close to the play and then they replace you with a movie star, like that kind of thing. So that started to affect me, and I thought, well, maybe I should do these other things. Like maybe I should, like, I need to start a YouTube channel, or I need to write a screenplay. I need to write a screenplay. Like
I need to
I
start a
can't,
podcast.
which I was doing, and I remember like thinking, what if I could just like, what if I could just be an actor? Is that enough? And like,
Mm.
and then you don't, if the industry isn't responding to you, you don't think it's enough. And so I think the move allowed me to be what I wanted to be, which is like a dad and an
Yeah.
actor. And because I wasn't, my mind was not like filled with all these other things that I should be doing. I was able actually to, like, when I would get something, I could really focus on it.
Right.
And suddenly, I mean, and also there's then other things like the fact that I like aged into myself a little bit more. Like I remember a casting director recommending that I start smoking.
Stop it.
you're-
What?
Well, and she, like, we both laughed, and then she kind of like held my gaze, and I was like, "Oh, she's serious."
Oh,
Because, and she said it. She was like, "Ian, you look." She was like, "I feel like there's something here." I'm like, "Oh, that's good. Oh, good. That's a compliment." And she goes, "But you look like an infant."
Oh, God.
And so you won't really work meaningfully until you're about 35.
oh my God.
And at that time, I was 27.
Ugh.
And so I was like, well, I don't want to smoke. So, I think it was all those things of like, I was able to concentrate on what I was doing. And I also no longer needed that
Right.
job. And because, I mean, DC isn't like super affordable, but because of where I'm living and my sort of family history there and whatever, like it made more sense. And because I was able to like focus on that, I think I was able to audition better. I take meetings and be like really present and not, needy.
Yeah.
And so I think, yeah, it's like a direct correlation. Now, am I doing like Oscar worthy performances? No. But it's still, at least it feels honest, to bring it back to like what you were saying. You
Yeah.
know?
And it's also, I mean, it's also, yes, right? Like you can have the meatiest role of your life and you can also have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And watching that film, I'm like, this was fun.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the kind of fun that it helps us at the end of the day get in bed and be like, everything's going to be okay. Like you
Mhm.
kind of put on that movie and you're like, everything's good. You just have a good
I
time,
love it.
right?
Yeah.
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 And so that is bringing joy to people. That's bringing kind of peace. It's fun. It's great. It's exciting. And then it's also like you're part of something where it's like a new renaissance for Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that's a fun thing to be part of. I could be making
Oh,
all
yeah.
that up.
Oh, no. I think you nailed it on the head. And it is, especially hopefully, what is like the renaissance of like a good rom-com,
Yes.
Love it. It's my favorite. Like just,
Best.
yeah.
And when it's done well, you kind of get the magic of movies again. It's not, it feels at times like things have become like very sterilized, and
Mhm.
so I really liked, especially with this movie, like, yeah, everybody looks great and hooray for hair and makeup, but like it felt like I'd see myself and I'm like, I look like a person. Like, all right, there's a little bit of a jowl in that scene, but like, it was honest. And I think, having, I remember like going, so I went to, speaking of Pittsburgh, like I went to this drama school that's
Mhm.
there. And what was really great was that, it was very much focused on like, all right, what's like the thing itself, like okay, here in drama school, we're going to do like Shakespeare and Chekhov, but then you're going to get out into the world and do some
Right.
like recurring guest star thing that's trash. But your job is to make it,
Good.
is to elevate it, you know? So
Mhm.
I think what's been great is like, having done the like the pilots, the guest spots, the things like that, where you're like, what is this? Like humans don't talk like this, and you have to like make it believable. You have to make it convincing, and so I think that's kind of your job. That like if doesn't matter what it is, if it's a rom com or if it's like Oscar fodder, like your approach should be the same.
Yeah.
To
Right.
make it awesome. I feel like I'm bloviating now, so I
You're not at
apologize.
all.
Not at all.
You went to Carnegie. Carnegie.
Mellon?
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I joke that
did you-
it's part culinary school.
Did
yeah,
you do the Permani sandwiches and the
I did
Vito's
until.
pizza?
Oh yeah. Well, yes. And then I was informed that maybe I was enjoying them too much, and
Oh, by
Oh.
whom?
and people that love you, but they're like
People
there's
that
a
are
little
honest.
there's a
Yeah.
bit of a lusciousness to you that maybe is not beneficial. But like that was everybody's experience, right? Nobody you don't go to college and be like, you know what, I'm gonna get in really great shape.
No,
Like,
no, you eat. I'll never forget. Well, I didn't go to like away, and I was visiting a friend at Purdue, and there was a place called Mad Mushroom, and that's all I have to say. It was a pizza place. And
was
that's
was
my
it
story.
I'm hungry.
Sorry.
oh,
This is where
pizza.
we go every
This
time.
isn't what you
we
thought,
started
right?
with food and we circle back.
Yeah. You
Well,
didn't
how
know
do
where
you-
this was going.
I can talk about food like all day because like I can't wait to do some project where they're like, you know what, Ian, you need to put on like 20 pounds. I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh,
Born
Yeah.
I
for
thought
it.
you were going to say a project where you get to cook
Or eat.
or eat.
oh, that might be a lot of effort. I mean, I feel like I'm like an all right cook. I certainly don't churn my own butter in the original shake weight form of it, but I really have to stop doing this gesture towards my face. But
I have a
yeah.
question for both of you.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was listening to this exercise where they have you close your eyes and they say, okay, what do you taste in your mouth? And not have it be a food. Close your eyes, right?
Okay.
And we want to try it.
No.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'll try it. Here we go.
Yeah. See,
Oh.
he's a good time. So if you close your eyes and you think of a taste, but it's not food,
Oh,
what would it be?
it's not food.
Yeah.
My
This is
mind
weird.
always goes to the dirtiest place. What is wrong with me?
It could be.
I'm landing on Dr. Pepper chapstick.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice. That's something.
But
that's
so
in-
what is your
It's
favorite?
not my first thought.
How about
Ian,
this?
Don't worry.
What is your favorite taste that's
that
not food?
isn't food?
Yeah.
Your favorite
Yeah.
that isn't food?
Yes.
Oh,
Look at it squirming.
It's not
I'm-
food.
Yeah. Well, where does your mind first go?
Coffee.
that's food.
That's
Is
food.
it?
That counts as like a food, like a.
Oh, you
Yes.
mean like a non-solid food?
That's very
Okay,
specific.
fine.
Coffee does not count. No, it
Okay,
has to be
so then-
something not edibly related, like or consume, like coffee or food. Like that's the same thing.
Okay. So this makes it harder.
See?
Okay. Well, what's your
It
favorite
definitely
smell
does.
then? That's not.
No, he's
Okay.
not done. Nancy.
Okay.
He
All right.
has to
I was going to
answer
have
the
him do it and then
taste.
take him to
Yours
smell.
was actually kind of brilliant, like Dr. Pepper chapstick. I mean, that's
Yeah, no,
that's-
I got there because I could not share what my first thought was.
Favorite taste, Rachel.
Yeah.
Favorite.
Like I said, I could. I'm just kidding.
So I guess
Wow.
the first response that came to my brain was my wife, but we can move past that. So there's,
I love
I
that.
think, yeah, it's. Oh God, Jesus. That's what that's gonna be whatever the like in the breakdown is like taste. It's his wife. First album. I think can like snow
Yeah,
when
good
it's starting to thaw.
one.
That is not food.
Hey, you're in Toronto. Do you ever take maple syrup and put it on fresh snow and eat it?
Oh, well, it hasn't snowed a lot, and I'm in a part of
You're in
Toronto
the city
yeah, maybe I don't
somewhere.
want to eat anything.
You don't want to eat that snow.
But
Nope,
no,
don't want to eat it.
I am a big maple syrup fiend. I mean, to the point where, you know, when you see those things that come up, like, is maple syrup that much better than cane sugar? I'm like, I don't want to hear this because
It is.
I'll put
right?
it
Yeah.
on like the eggs, you know. It's just
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so
You are
good.
a fan.
I'm a big fan.
Well, there's lots of maple up there.
Yeah, no, and there are a lot of good people up here. A lot of fun.
Oh yeah. What are you working?
Canadian.
Can you talk about what you're working on up there? Do you want to?
I can, yeah. So well, yes. So I
Don't lie.
don't lie. So I'm doing this. I mean, there was like a little, I guess, a variety or a deadline thing about it, but it's a streaming show for Hallmark Plus, and what I love about it is very much unlike anything they have done, and the way down to like murder. There's like everybody gets beheaded at one point. No, it's
You're really bringing it back to Marcus Aurelius.
I don't know why I'm that.
Oh, way to bring it back.
So many
girl.
callbacks today. That's what I'm here for. You're welcome.
But it also means you listen, so that's great. Thanks for doing that.
You know what? Yes. One of my only skills.
You have so many skills. What are you talking about?
Hey, thanks.
You can churn butter,
I
babe.
can churn butter. I can shake wicket. I can't.
You
I've
can
never
churn
done
butter.
Okay, sorry. You're working on Hallmark Plus.
Oh, yeah. So it's basically like, you know, 4 people. It's set in New York, therefore shot in Toronto. And it's sort of like how their lives come together, and I can't say much more than that, but it's not, you know, everybody. What's really been interesting is a lot of like the guest stars and the recurrings that are all like Canadian locals. You know, they shoot so much Hallmark stuff up here that everybody has been in like multiple productions, especially for like your local actor, and all of them have said like, I'm very confused right now because this does not feel Hallmarky at all. Even down to like the how the shots are done, the lenses we use. Like there's this one lens that I think they have like 10 of them in the world, and we have 2 of them.
Wow.
And we did this one shot where I received some not so great news, and it was on like this little crane that just circled me and did the whole thing. And
wow.
that's like,
oh, that's fun.
It's like those things the kids do where you stand in the circle and it goes around you and it makes
yeah.
sense.
So yeah.
Those are so cool.
Yeah.
The kids are doing.
That's what the children. So yeah, no, I'm really excited for it because I think, you know, it's
a series, right? Is that what you said?
It's a series.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody, you know, I think is trying to do the platform thing where they're trying to build out like, you know, it's Hallmark Plus, you know, I think it will probably be on the actual channel at some point, but like they're trying to build out this whole new thing. And I think it's really awesome. And I think they're doing it really well. And so, cause you know, if we were talking a little moment ago or a little while ago about like, if I had not, you know, did the move facilitate where I am now. And one of the premises of this show is about how small decisions and little sort of seemingly unimportant details resonate out and affect a bunch of different kinds of people. And so I realized that if I hadn't left LA, I would not have moved. We moved to like right outside New York at first, and we just happened to find ourselves in Connecticut. And it was there that I got offered this like Hallmark Christmas movie that at that point I was like, oh my God, I'll never do these. You know, it's terrible and blah, blah, blah. And I was such an asshole about it. And then I read the script and found out that my friend Kim Matula was doing it. And so I did it. I had a blast and it was well received. And if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been able to do this other thing that was on Hallmark Plus just recently. And then I wouldn't have been considered for this job.
Right.
And if I hadn't done this other Christmas movie, Netflix wouldn't have looked at me for
Right.
the
Right.
Lindsay Lohan one. And I think, not to keep bringing it back to this, but at times I felt like I was trying to force things
Mm-hmm.
in the early part of my career, where I was like, no, it's got to be this. It's got to be this.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if I'm not in this world, I'm not working with these people, I'm a failure. And it was been very clear to me that I don't always know what's best for me.
Oh,
Mm.
preach.
And it's, yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
but isn't it kind of shocking? Like
Yeah.
you think, oh, if I do this thing, I will totally die. And outside of like, you know, like the extremes of any given situation, like, yeah, I'm never going to like do heroin and think like, yeah,
That's
I'm
going to
really
go
like,
well.
this is
Yeah.
going to end well. But I kept thinking, no, my life, my career needs to look like this. And once I kind of let that go, my life and career got a whole lot better.
Mhm.
And as much as I'm like, oh, because I felt like I encountered so many woo-woo people in Los Angeles. They're like, you just need to let it go. I'm like, I think you don't have a job and you have like a rich
Yeah.
parent. Like how
Yeah.
like you can afford to let it go. You know, I
Right.
can't,
Right.
the stakes are higher for me. But sometimes they were right,
Yeah.
that, okay, I'm going to go do this thing. I'm going to do the best that I can. And that's all you can do.
Yeah.
And so that led me to this. And like, it's a blast. I love the people I'm working with. And they're all like, actors that love acting, which is great.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't encounter that as much as you should. And there's one serendipitous thing, but I can't say without giving away like some of the storyline, but like,
But it was
I mean,
confirmation.
yes,
I
100%.
love that.
Yeah.
And
Love that so much when that happens.
yeah, so it should, knock on wood, it should be great. And if not, then
We can't wait.
then
Can you
we'll
say
do.
what it's called?
It's called Ripple right now.
Ripple. Okay. Right
That
now
sounds
it's
like Ripple.
So if it stays, we'll know what to look out for.
Also, really quick, it reminds me of that. There's an image I share a lot with people that I need to look at every day myself, which is like, it's a picture of like God holding this teddy bear. Have you seen this?
No.
And there's this little girl just crying hysterically because she wants this little teddy bear. And
You just shared this the other day. Sorry, continue.
and behind his back, he's got a gargantuous teddy bear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if she would just let go of that little thing she thinks she needs and wants, she's got so much more that he's just waiting to give her. And it's like that image is exactly what you described. It's like you think you want to control and do the thing, and I need it this way. And if you can just kind of release that and let what's bigger for you come, that's what's happening for you right now.
It kind of, yeah.
You love a buff.
Sorry, that sounded like I was responding negatively to what you're saying. I'm not. I also think it's fascinating that like I was like very early on in my career, I was like a screaming atheist. I mean, like insufferable to be around. And it was because I felt, so disillusioned with stuff like organized faith. And, my sister is gay, and I didn't like how she was treated growing up. And so I was just angry at that. And so what I did was I tried very hard to like eradicate any spirituality, faith, or anything like that. There might have been another time in my life where what you just said would get a scoff from me.
Sure.
But now, as I've gotten older, experienced more of life, have had a baby,
Yep.
I don't see how you can't have that. Like I can't comprehend how you can't, how you don't, put your life in sort of like a spiritual sense, or at least ask these questions.
Mhm.
And the idea of certainty is just like a dead end,
Right.
And yeah, that is such a great image. I should find that and like put it
That's
up
your
on my son's
tattoo.
bed or something.
That's your
That's my
actual
tattoo.
tattoo.
It's your tattoo on the bottom of your foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one will be like on my chest or somewhere
Yeah.
you can see it. Although I feel like I look like such like the, poor man's Kennedy. I don't know if tattoos really register on me. It'd be like, I think you're trying too hard, buddy.
You're like, I'm just trying to match the coolness of my wife.
Of my wife. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's got a tattoo? So yeah, no, that's
Of course,
exactly.
of course.
I said I think she might be a little bit cooler than
Yeah.
you.
She's so
Just a
much
little
cooler.
bit.
She is.
Tell her-
I think she's cooler than most. That's
Yeah,
what my
that's her
take was.
vibe.
I was like, oh, got it.
Yeah. Like, have you known somebody who at like a Hollywood gathering will just suddenly pull out paints and they'll
No.
just like go paint in the corner?
Oh
Like,
my God.
First, I'm like, where did you hide that? Like, you have this like that little fashionable purse that's like this,
And you have
and she'll just like
paint.
bust that
She'll
out.
sit down at a party and just start painting.
Mhm. She'll be like, "Brr, brr, 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 brr," and I go, do you need to be alone, or like, what do you feel? I don't know. I just had this idea, and she just does it, and I'm like, God, that's amazing.
It's someone who. Now I'm gonna talk Wicked for a second. Have you seen it?
Please.
The movie version yet?
No, I have not, but I should. I'm gonna go see
Basically,
it
the
tonight.
messaging of like Alphaba and in part one is like so staying true and
Yes.
like being yourself.
Yeah.
And so I think that is just an example of that, and it's very powerful.
So powerful.
Oh my God. We won't say anything because
No.
you have to see it.
You
But
should see it.
I should
that-
absolutely
that's-
see it.
I'm comparing your wife to
Alphabet.
Alphaba part one. I don't know what happens in part two.
We don't know about part two.
Yeah. We don't know about all the Wicked Witch of the West stuff. But part
Did you
one.
see like the musical or
No, I've never seen.
you never
you've
saw
never
the
seen any of
musical?
it?
I've never seen even on stage. No.
Oh, wow.
I know
Yeah.
nothing.
Oh,
You do
wow.
now.
Well, I know part one now. Yeah. But like nothing, which is crazy because I'm a huge like musical Broadway, like all of that. Love it. But it was just one that, anyway, never had
But
the
it was
chance.
kind of like one of those things where everybody says like, oh, it's the best. And there's
Yeah,
that
I
part of you
know.
that goes like, I'm not going to see it.
It can't
Like,
be the best. Yeah.
Well, I think that's good.
But it is. Have you seen it on stage?
I have seen it on stage. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and yeah, it's pretty.
Was that the play that you wanted to stay to see that your friend was in?
Your
like,
friend, Kristen Chenoweth.
my friend Kristen Chenoweth, who is the delight, who is just, yeah, no, that's the cool thing about this job is like suddenly you meet somebody who's a legend. Like she's literally
Legend.
she's
Yeah.
a letter away from being an EGOT,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and yet so humble, loves junk food.
Oh,
like
my heart.
and
He
we'd
stole
be
my
doing
heart.
something. She was like, "Oh, Ian, hang on one second. Like, I gotta get something from my trailer." And I'd be like, "Oh, okay." I'm like standing outside in the cold. She's like, "Come on in, don't stand up." Like, and then I gotta come up in the trailer. It's just like Doritos bags. And I'm like, "Oh, I think a
Amazing.
9-year-old was like let
Yeah.
loose in your
Yeah.
trailer." And I was like, "Did you have like nieces and nephews that came with you?" He was like, "No, that's mine, honey." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But yeah, she's a legend, and she said, it came out super well, and also like so gracious too, that this thing that she held so dear and was so integral in like creating it,
Yeah.
just gave it away.
Yeah.
I was like 100% was there
Yeah.
for, Ariana, and was like, yes, this is your
It's
role.
crazy.
Amazing.
not,
Yeah. I got chills talking about it.
That did make me emotional in the movie, just that aspect of like what that's like as a woman and a man when you switch over roles in life, where you're no longer the ingenue. And is that what would she be considered now? Leading lady still? But she's not the-
Kristen?
Yeah, she's not
Yeah.
she's not the Ariana Grande anymore.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
None of us are going to live our whole life as Ariana Grande. Neither is Ariana.
Intentionally.
You know what I mean? Like there's going to be
Yeah.
one day where she passes the torch.
Yeah. And it takes a big person who is grounded in their own life and being to let it go,
Yeah.
which is I know is so shitty.
Oh, let it go. You just brought up Adina. Let's go there.
Yeah, Adele Nazim. Yeah, she.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so. Wait, where was I going with that? Something like about, realizing you're not this thing anymore and like being okay with it.
Yeah.
Kristen doesn't owe anybody anything.
No.
No.
She's like, she's done it. She's worked with like the best of the best. It's won awards, and so now she's like, well, I don't know how much longer I'm going to do this. I mean, she'll probably do it until she,
Yeah.
croaks on stage. But, yeah, man, she's the best.
Thank
Yeah.
God. I'm so
Yeah.
glad to hear that because
Yes.
you want them.
You always want that.
Yeah.
Those stories are the best.
You
ones.
want her to be good.
Yeah,
Yeah. And Ian, you're the best. You're
You're
very
good.
delightful conversation. Thank you for being so open with us. And
oh, of course. I hope it
Aside
wasn't
from
too
your
heavy.
son's name.
And also, yeah, hiding it. Good old, or maybe I just like, yeah, my son's name is Lucy Hale. How about that? Or just,
I think
something
everyone's
that's
name should be
clearly wrong.
Lucy Hale.
That's true. She's
Yes.
she's a dream. I'm gonna go text her right now.
Go
and
text her right now. Have fun
Girl.
shooting your series. We can't wait for that. And your
Yeah.
wildly successful movie on Netflix. Everyone needs a feel good situation right now. So thank you for bringing that to us. And talking to us.
This was
Amazing.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
thank you for having me. Thank you.
To close, just tell us your favorite smell that isn't
Oh, she won't let
food.
it go.
No, that's
Smell.
great. My favorite smell
That
That
isn't food.
that isn't food. My favorite smell that isn't food. There's a tie. There are multiple things. I think the top of my son's head,
Yep.
even now, even like once the baby
Yeah.
scent is
Doesn't
gone,
matter.
he's still, and I know if he, this is gross, but
His
Um,
mouth.
his breath,
Yes.
because he doesn't understand proximity now, and so when he hugs, he's like, he'll be like, Dada, hey Dada, and like his face is on my face. I'm like, okay, all right, bud, all right, a little bit of space, okay, buddy, but his breath is probably, probably it. That's probably
Aw.
the
Yep.
That was
smell.
well done. Well answered.
With you on that one.
There we go.
There we go. Boom. Well, have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We didn't really get into birds in our conversation with Ian. And I feel like I could have gone off about that for hours because he wrote a book on birds. We didn't talk
Glad
about
you said
it.
that part.
That he wrote a book on birds.
Yeah,
Just wanted to talk about birds. Want to know something so weird?
of course.
During the interview, while we were talking to him, I heard a crow out the window. Did you notice it?
No.
For some reason, and I'm usually not hyper aware, but it kept crowing during the interview and I clocked it.
Turns out he's a bird guy.
He's a bird guy. And I didn't, at the time we were talking, I didn't even think about that. I don't think the mics will have picked it up, but just so you know, the crow was a crowing.
Do you ever look up if you see a certain type of bird or
Do I ever refer to how to make an American quilt? You know how she has the crow thing in it?
no?
Sorry, I really have to say this quickly.
Please. Say.
There's a theory in that movie, and if I'm remembering it correctly, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, there's something about a crow or a raven, I want to say crow, that you follow and it leads you to your love or something.
Oh.
Or maybe it's something positive. My takeaway was leads you to your love. And
Wait, stop.
I don't know. I don't remember.
No, stop.
What?
Oh,
What did you think?
no, I'm dying because you're the crow leads you to your love. Or maybe it was something positive.
Leading you to your love isn't positive. Well, it depends.
I was wait, what?
No,
You're
anyway.
or it was something positive.
Accurate. Correct. No.
Correct.
Anyways, so I always think of that when I see a crow. I'm like, I wonder what the significance is in this moment.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask is
Yeah.
do you look up certain birds and what they mean?
I
you
will
see one in a way?
absolutely. Well, I have a thing with hummingbirds.
And what's your thing?
I've actually. So my mom, when my grandma died. Wait, what? That's not the end of the sentence.
What did you just say?
So my mom, when my grandma died.
I thought you said, so my mom and my grandma died. And I was like, no.
No. Oh
No.
my God.
Okay.
Olivia.
I'm sorry. I thought that's what you said.
Did not say that.
Start over.
My mom has a story about like when my grandma passed and a hummingbird came to visit her. So for so long, hummingbirds have symbolized my grandmother, who I spoke to recently on Tyler Henry.
True.
Yeah. And then there was someone else I had a connection with, and they had a similar hummingbird connection to someone who had passed. And anyway, it's just like significant. So when I see a hummingbird, I always clock it.
Okay.
Do you have a really
Clock it.
I clock it. Do you have a relationship to birds?
Not a big one.
No.
Not a big one. But I did note that you had like a really beautiful, majestic hawk doing a beautiful like
When?
show yesterday.
Oh, yesterday.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hawks.
Yeah. So I always feel some sort of significance.
So
with
will
the
you
hawk.
look it up?
Yeah. What is it?
I don't
Do
know.
you
Well, when Briar was born, there was a baby hawk in our yard. And it was so cute. They look like these little balls of fluff.
So cute.
So cute. And I remember looking it up at the time, but I don't remember what they symbolize now. Are you going to look it up?
Yep.
I always look up symbolization with everything in life.
George messed up all the settings on my phone. He changed them all.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't know what that means
What is
exactly,
this?
but
Like my texts no longer show up on the front page. What is the
Weird.
symbolism?
symbolism of hawks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do share.
I will. Hawks have had many symbolic meanings across cultures and throughout history, including prophecy and foresight. The hawk's ability to soar and sharp vision has made it the symbol of prophecy, wisdom, intuition, clear vision, strength, courage, protection, wealth, and power. I really resonate.
Bring it in.
You know, that one really hits close to home.
Yeah. Abundance.
It's a favorable omen.
Okay. Down for it.
Okay, I have some questions for you.
Okay.
So this is a tricky thing, and I think you're going to really understand why I think it's tricky.
Okay.
So if you were to think about manifesting,
Yas.
right?
Yas.
And you were to think, what are the biggest things that you want to call into your life? Let's just say you hold that in your mind's eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you then feel comfortable sharing that publicly?
Actually publicly, or like talking about it like with you? You mean like not
with me.
keeping
I know
it
you
private?
would feel comfortable.
Right.
Because I think there's this thing, right? So sometimes if you hear, I've been listening to a lot of different things on manifestation, and there's one level where I feel really connected to it. And then there's another level where I feel like it's hard, I would imagine, to then share those things happening. And then it almost gets into the like, are you disconnected?
Like superstitious or?
Superficial more.
Oh.
Yes.
Elaborate.
So let's say you and I were like, we're going to do a manifesting challenge,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And we're going to manifest together and we're going to share it with the broadience.
Okay.
And then I'm like, I got a check for X amount of dollars or this or that. It starts to become disconnected to me from what people are facing on a daily basis. So when I ask you that, do you feel like that's true? Like, would you feel comfortable being like, oh, I manifested this thing? Or would you feel like, you know what, that's kind of out of touch with what a lot of people may, and not for me personally, I've never experienced that, but I'm saying when people start to like really push these huge manifestations, is there a disconnect between being connected to what a typical person would experience?
I automatically go to superstition and not superficial. Like
Okay.
if I share things like, oh, if I like say this, does that mean it won't happen or whatever? But I don't think I do that often because I think when things happen, I'll be like, I just manifested that, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if I do that like on here publicly. Maybe I do, but I guess I don't think about it. I don't think is my thing. I don't think I put too much thought into it is more accurate.
Okay.
Where you think about everything.
I really do.
You really deep dive on everything. Like so much. I'm like, just, you know.
It's like the scene in Wicked where the guy's like dancing and they're in the library and he's like, don't think, just dance through life.
Yeah, I'm Firo.
So then what, because I know your brain never stops. So then what
What are you thinking about?
yeah.
Hmm.
You know?
I often feel concerned for myself. What's been really interesting is my daughter's an incredibly deep thinker.
Yes.
Incredibly deep. I can think deeply 100%, but I also kind of keep things at a level where I'm not going there. Maybe that's why for so long I didn't suffer from depression.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just like,
Don't go there.
I didn't let things like get to me.
How do you do that?
I don't know. I mean, things can get to me now.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't think, and I know I joke around, you know, but I do have a habit of keeping things at a level of like, I don't know the best way to articulate this.
Try it.
Keeping things at a level of, well, what are you going to do? My motto, right?
Right.
It's the best way I can describe it.
So then what does your brain think about?
I'm like purposely avoiding the question.
Because you do, I know you think all the time. I'm with you enough. I know that it does.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to, I'm fascinated. See, I'm doing it.
I know. You can't help
can't
it.
stop.
I know. My mind, I'll go to more like logistical thinking, like tomorrow I have to have this done and this is what I need to do in the morning and then this is what I can make her for lunch and then, okay, what do I want to make for dinner? And then I have to go to the market and then I have to get these things and then, you know, but that's busy brain that is distracting.
It's also useful though, because I don't think of those things.
Right.
Like I'll think of them like, okay,
Well,
I have
what are your
to do
thoughts when you're going to
X.
bed at night? What goes through your mind?
So I'm really good at turning off my thoughts for bed.
Okay,
I go to bed.
great.
I fall asleep like a narcoleptic.
I know you do.
Boom.
It's unbelievable.
But the thoughts throughout my day are more consumed with, so like for instance, if I'm going to drive here, I rarely listen to music.
Is it silent or you're listening to talks?
I'll listen to talks
Right.
and books.
I actually
and,
know this. I don't know why I asked.
Yeah.
you.
So those kind of things will then give me something to chew on all day.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'll be like, oh, how's that showing up in my life? Like, where's that
You do
applicable?
a lot of reflection.
Yeah. Like, what is that? Like, where can I learn? I also think a lot about like, how can I explain it to clients or like make it digestible in ways that like go with their life. So I will forget that I need to get 2 things of sprinkles for the school party on
You didn't
Friday.
get them?
It's on Friday. I have to get them today.
Okay.
But like, those are the kind
That's
of things
the things that I would
you
have
never forget.
Never forget.
Yeah.
Done. Immediately.
I'm going to do it. The
I know.
sprinkles are going to be there.
Yeah.
But it'll be like, fuck, I got to get the sprinkles versus the logistics in planning of my life.
Right. I'm a big planner in my head.
You are.
Massively.
That's a Virgo thing.
I think so.
It's Virgo.
Yeah. I'm a mess. Clothes are everywhere. But in my brain, I'm my shopping cart at the grocery store. Everything's going to go in neatly.
Only at the grocery store?
Target.
That's a store. I mean, like, does that order apply anywhere else in your life?
Packing for a trip. Really good at that. Really organized. Well thought out. We'll obsess over that though.
I like packing.
Love.
Reminds me of playing with Barbies.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is going to be for that and that's going to be for that. And
That's interesting to me because there are people who are like actually put outfits together or like things together and like this is for this and this goes with this. My problem is I can't do that. I can't put an exact outfit together. I have to have options because I change so drastically that I might not want to wear that.
yeah.
Or I might not want that to go with that. And so my problem is overpacking always.
So you don't get a general idea of like, okay, let's say you're going on a 3-day trip.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be like, okay, here's pajamas. Here's what to change into for cozies.
Oh, yeah,
Here's
yeah.
breakfast the next morning.
Oh.
Here's the afternoon. Here's evening. And then bring things to like mix and match with it. Like a sweater or a jacket could go with that. You're like, bring options for each thing.
I'm like options like I need cozy, comfy options. I need eating somewhere options. I need day cozy, comfy options. Like I need options, but I know the things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you don't decide what's
It's not
for
like the
what.
exact thing. Unless I'm going somewhere for a very specific thing and I need to know what I'm wearing to
Yeah.
that thing. Yeah.
So like, how was Morocco for you? Because
Great.
you went with Nicole,
Yes.
who
Who's
is
massively organized. But
that's my dream.
You know
is
what
to
was
have
great?
her pack me for my life.
I will tell you, it was the one time Nicole went out of her high school reunion that she planned, staying up, hanging out, all of it,
Yeah.
to going straight on a plane to Morocco. So the first time in her life, she just had to like throw a bunch of
Wing
shit
it.
in suitcases, but still had every look completely dialed.
How does she do that?
I don't know. It's amazing.
Does she have more hours in the day?
Nope.
What is it?
I don't know. It's her brain. I don't know.
It's so fascinating how each one of our brains like totally does a different thing,
I know.
right?
I don't recommend mine for anyone.
Yeah, but yours excels in
Snacks.
fucking kill a snack. You will
I will slay a snack game.
You slay a snack and you slay the organization of being a mom. Like you
Yes.
show up for everything. You volunteer for everything. You will bring something homemade. You will cook. You'll make sure that she has a homemade meal. Like you kill it in that
I
way.
will say
I sure don't.
I put a lot. That's where most of my effort goes into all the momming.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like your brain likes it. Because a lot of moms, like you have to put the effort in no matter what when you have kids. Like it's not an option. They have to eat. They've got to
Right.
get to school. But there's something about you that's like you enjoy those aspects that would be chores for other people.
Right. My favorite thing is packing her lunch in one of the Planet Box compartments. I know I talk about this, but the compartments, and that speaks to my brain of the organizing of the carts because each little compartment has something. And when I can make it cute, I like get such joy from that.
What'd you put in it today? This is like ASMR.
I know. Well, yesterday was the Planet Box. Today, because I was giving her angel hair, I had to use like a thermos. So it had to be a regular lunchbox with different things in it.
Mm-hmm. You give her, so you'll heat angel hair pasta before,
It was made already. It's not like I cook it in the morning.
but you heat it up in the morning.
Yes. And put it in the thermos.
I don't do any thermos stuff.
Ever?
No.
Well, Briar loves soups. It's easy
Yeah.
for me because I can just reheat
My kids
that.
don't want any of that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like yesterday she had a salami sandwich, you know? But she doesn't love bread. She's not a big sandwich kid.
What?
I know. I love making it fun. Like, you know, Catherine Weelicious,
Yes.
how she does her little sushi sandwiches, quote unquote, where they cut them up like little rolls. They look like little
So
sushi.
cute.
I love doing that. Like it brings me such joy.
So how much time do you need to give yourself in the morning to do that? and make breakfast.
Well, I think about it ahead. If I didn't have it thought out, it would take longer.
So your brain works, you see?
It does work.
Yeah.
It's just what it's working on.
Yeah, but that's good.
We usually have breakfast. I do a to-go breakfast because her school starts so early that she eats on the way to school.
Like what?
Well, I was really proud this morning. And did I tell you? I think, I talked about it
You
in
did.
the episode.
That's right.
I like to come up with different things. Like yesterday she had avocado toast. But you know, sometimes she'll have like the Greek yogurt with the honey, and then I'll give her like pecans on the side. Do you say pecan or pecan?
I say pecan.
Pecan. I think I do both.
Pecan pie? Pecan pie? No.
Pecan. I know.
Caramel or caramel?
Yeah. Right. Caramel.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, and I'll give her like fruit and nuts on the side. You know what I mean? That like she can eat in the car, or she'll have peanut butter toast and with strawberry slices on it. And you know, I try to make it like filling, but the good thing, she likes to go to school early now because she can go and they serve breakfast if she wants to eat breakfast.
Oh, that's good.
That's happened the past couple days just because she likes it. So sometimes she'll do that. But I always have something for her in the car.
I can't believe she eats breakfast in the car.
She would have to wake up so early, and my child,
What time does she wake up?
you know what? The past 2 mornings she woke up herself, which is amazing. But normally I have to wake her up at 7:15, and we have to be out the door 7:30, 7:40, which is hard.
Are you being serious?
I'm being serious because the kid needs her
That's like
sleep.
15 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's not ideal. It works a
That's
lot
like
better.
put your clothes on, brush your teeth, we're leaving.
I've started to shift to like, if she's not up by 7, like I want to wake her up at 7. So she has time because it really makes the morning easier.
I get my kids up at 6:45 to leave by 7:45.
Wow.
Well, Shepard's already up.
Shepard's up, I know.
It's
Shepard
Elliot I have
has
to
already
wake
had
up.
his 5-course breakfast meal that he's made himself. Yeah, no, but she needs her sleep.
So do I, dude.
I know you do. I'm up. I'm always
Maybe
up.
that's why I'm cranky.
Maybe that's why you're cranky. You're cranky if you don't sleep.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about this situation.
Did you go to the gym this morning?
Yeah,
Oof.
I did.
Okay.
So that's a question is like, is it good for me?
I feel like you're supposed to feel more energized when you work out and stuff like you're doing.
Yeah, but I think there's something about my circadian rhythm that like if I wake up and it's still dark, I never quite catch it.
I will agree with you because anytime I wake up at 5 or 5:30, no matter what, even if I went to bed at 9, I am exhausted during the day, like late, you know,
Yeah.
late afternoon. You're like, shit, I have to go to sleep. What is that?
And I feel like Jeff was like, I don't think that you're the person that should do this.
At 5 a.m.?
Yeah.
I agree. Like you can go to the gym, but like go at 9.
Well, the reason I go at 5 a.m. is because that's when Nicole can go. And it's like the accountability buddies.
I get it.
And
You
getting-
need someone.
Yeah.
That's why like Pilates buddies, like it makes you go.
It makes you go. And then also to go to the gym at 9, realistically, like
You can't get there.
get there, then get home, then shower, then get ready. You're starting your
No, I
day at
know.
11. Like I do this, my day starts.
You're arguing against yourself.
I know, but I'm tired.
So you just drink caffeine all day.
Yeah, I don't think it's sustainable doing 5:30 a.m. workouts.
Yeah. Not
You know?
for you. Nicole can handle it.
She can handle it.
Yep.
She's a different breed.
Yep. 100%.
She's hilarious.
I know.
She's really funny.
Was she funny this morning?
She was funny this morning. You know what I love about her? She's the most straight shooter ever. And like my brother did something annoying and she was like, don't do that. I don't like that. And like the way she says it, like, and it wasn't, he was just like, move to this machine or whatever. It's just like the way she said and the way he did it and like the whole thing. It's like anyone else would just be like, oh, okay. Like, whatever.
She's like,
but
don't
she's
do
like,
that.
no, I don't like that. And he's like, okay, cool. Then don't move and we'll do this. And I'm just like, there's a way about her that's so confident and direct.
Direct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Did you know
What?
that what we work on is contagious. So like if there's a branch, right, and then that's fragmented into a littler branch, it's the same thing. It's just smaller, right? And so it grows with the other branches. Like basically you pull each other to where you're at. So if
I think we pull each other all the time.
100%. So it's like if you start working on boundaries, it's going to firm my boundaries. If I start working on honesty, it's going to start to pull your honesty.
If you start weight building, my muscles are naturally going to
your ass got tighter from me going to the gym.
Thank you.
But that's the truth. It's
No, I
like
know.
you are what you eat.
Yeah. I eat you every Nope, not saying
No,
it.
no, don't say it.
That goes to the places we don't want. That was not.
The dark web.
Yes. Thank you for holding me accountable every day.
Thank you for holding me accountable.
Thank you, Broadians, for a great year and happy holidays.
Oh, happy holidays.
All right, everyone. Have a happy holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Google some birds.